Does anyone else hear the intro music still?
No, we're clear,
No.
man.
Oh, it's playing again in my ear. Welcome, fans, to another episode of Rangers Ed. This is episode 140, presented by Lucarelli Law. What's up, Coach? How we doing over there? Having
What's
some
going
technical
on? Happy
difficulties over here. I'm hearing an echo.
Happy St. Patty's Day. I got my Rangers Ed Pod shirt on from last year when we had the live show
Look at that.
over at Hockey
I still got
Night
plenty
in New
of
York.
I still got plenty of those shirts. If anyone would like to buy one, I think we have some in the cabinet over here. But yeah, shout out to Hockey Night in New York. I'm sure Sean over there and Stefan are hurting a little bit this time of year, as always. Oh, and Coach Ed is, of course, drinking a non-sponsored beer, Guinness. Okay, let's see you split the G, Coach. Let's see you split the G.
I got to
What
let
do you
it
got?
settle first.
All right, let it
Let me
settle.
let it
PJ,
settle.
what do you got for us?
Not much. It might look like me and Coach are matching, but I'm going PWHL today. New York Sirens. Big win yesterday.
Very nice,
Alrighty
very
then.
nice. You guys you went to the game, or when was the last time you were there? You went there recently?
Yeah, that was the first time me and my wife went. We went early last month to the Prudential Center where they play their home games. So it was really cool. I recommend. All the seats are lower level, and the hockey's real good. I mean, some of those girls are amazing. There was this one girl on D called Ella Shelton for the Sirens. She is like everywhere. I mean, kind of reminded me of Werenski. She's like a rover. She's all over the ice. Like always has the puck when she's out there.
Yeah,
Well,
I'd like to get to a game at some point.
I was
Sorry,
always
Coach,
I was always on the side that when you watched, even when Eddie was little, I would watch the younger girls teams. The girls are always fundamentally sound. They're always positionally sound in every sport. Even when Erin played basketball, you know, they complied to the plays. They stayed on course. Whereas when you coach boys, it's always like you got to like reel them in. You got to corral them. Like, come on, let's go, settle down, get in. You know, hold your zone. It's a different dynamic for sure. I guess the whole saying "men are from Mars."
But I mean, they're physical too. I mean, it's hard. They go hard every night. I mean, they don't play many games, and there's 6 teams, so it's every game is huge.
Yeah,
So they had
aren't
their
they
first
allowing
fight the
hitting?
other night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
What'd you say, bud?
They had their first fight the other night. Remember I showed
saw
you the
that, yeah.
Instagram video?
Yeah, and they have a couple of like
They
different
don't
rules.
allow like huge open ice hits, right? They just allow like the little physicality along the walls.
I know. I mean, they were hitting like obviously no one's crushing anyone like a Rempe or something like that, but I mean they're very physical. You know, some scrums after the whistle, and they have a couple like different rules. The one rule I thought was awesome is it's called the jailbreak rule. So if you're killing a penalty and you score a shorthanded goal, the power play ends.
Oh wow!
So both ways, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's something the Rangers would actually be good at this year with tied for the lead in shorties.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, fans, obviously you notice our usual host, Cousin Ed's not with us right now. He's running a little late. He had some plans with Theo. What was it, a maternity photo shoot or something he was saying last episode? But yeah, he's going to be joining us soon. We're going to save the jersey profile because the jersey profile this week is Sam Rosen. So Cuz wanted to be here for that one. And we have a little bit of a surprise. Most of you probably saw it. You might have saw it without even realizing. We got something to talk about during the jersey profile. But I guess while we wait for Cuz, Coach, are you excited for our road trip tomorrow night?
I'm very excited. I've been waiting since last week. I'm chomping at the bit to get on the road and get down there and get a little prepared and get the boys together, check in, and go through the whole dynamic.
Are you guys driving?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so listeners or fans, if you don't know what we're talking about, Coach Ed and I are heading down to Jacksonville, Florida for the AAU Division III Club Hockey National Championship with Stony Brook. Coach Ed's rocking the hat right now if you're watching on YouTube. So it's exciting stuff. This will be our second year, back-to-back years heading to nationals, and this year is definitely a different feel, a little bit more exciting. We're conference champions, and Coach Ed and Coach Skank have been leading the boys into some very competitive practices the last couple weeks heading into nationals. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. But yes, PJ, we are driving down with a cargo van filled with equipment. We have our skate sharpening machine, all the tape and other equipment that the boys have that we set up for them every game.
Is the grill coming?
We're gonna see when we fill up the van. I want to bring it. We'll see how the weight situation is. But we have I have all the team sticks, so the boys don't have to bring them on the plane. I got the goalie equipment.
And, so the rest of the team is flying then.
Correct.
And how are you guys doing? Are you stopping halfway?
Well, actually, I have to cover some clients on my way down there, so we have some scheduled pit stops. But when we moved down, my sister, shout out to Aaron, we were just talking about it backstage, but we'll say it again. EA, the PA, is going to be volunteering, or she did already volunteer for the Division I Nationals 2 weeks ago and the women's. So she's going to be volunteering again for ours this Friday as one of the trainers, the AAU trainers. She's got her PA license down in Florida. So coincidentally, they live in Jacksonville where the Nationals are. So they'll be also hosting the team for a pool party. So that's exciting stuff.
Whoa. It's not a pool party. It's a barbecue.
Whatever.
Let's keep the
There's
boys
a pool
focused.
there. There's a pool.
I'll be in the pool. But the boys, there's no swimming allowed.
Fair enough. No day of
coach.
game swimming, that's for sure. Yeah. Where was I?
Sorry.
So yes, we'll be driving down, and what was I going to say? Last time we did that, we moved her down, and we didn't really stop. We just took turns, right?
Yeah. Drove through.
So.
Jacksonville's about, if you drive straight through with a couple of gas stops, about 17 hours. It's the beginning of Florida, so it's not. I mean, it's not great, but it's not that bad. We got to get out of New York and through DC, and then it's a nice, decent ride.
Oh yeah, 95 through there is the worst.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. The boys are ready to go. I did a little screaming the last week of practice and got them hopefully in line.
A couple agains, like the Miracle.
The first on Tuesday, but after that I went a little light. We tried to keep some competition drills going instead of flow drills because we haven't had a game since we won the championship. So hopefully they're prepared. We got an 8:00 in the morning game, which is going to be tough.
Oof.
All right, so here we go.
Paul, to answer your question, gas prices are what, close to $4 now in New York, Long Island, like $3.80 something.
What? I paid $2.75 today. What part of New York do you live in?
I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of Massachusetts, where I was.
Yeah, Massachusetts, I'd say. Yeah, they're always higher there.
Anything else in the chat that I missed? I don't think so. No. Coach, you ready? Go for it. Split the G. Let's see it.
What's the G? It's already down there already.
Oh, well.
All right,
you didn't get a full Guinness then.
Well, it was a can, so. That was an easy one.
Patty's Day.
You didn't really split it. It's under the G. Guys, what do you got?
Depends on how I tilt the glass.
Guys want you to down the whole thing.
All right, you limey.
All right. Let's get into it. Prior to last episode, the Rangers were 31, 28, and 6. Since last episode, they're 2-2-0. Their current record, they're sitting at 33, 30, and 6, just over 500, 72 points, 5th in the Metro, 20th in the NHL. And PJ, they're currently sitting in the wild card spot, right?
Yes, technically by points, but if you look at Montreal and Columbus, each have 2 games in hand. So technically both those teams have a higher points percentage. Columbus is playing as we speak. Last I checked, they were down 2-0 to Jersey.
Gotcha. So, yeah, since we were on, they lost to Winnipeg 2-1. They beat Minnesota in overtime 3-2. They got some revenge on Columbus, shutting them out 4-0. And then they most recently lost to the Oilers 3-1 last night in a hard-fought game. My opinion could have gone either way. Coach, what do you think about last night's game?
I mean, I caught the last two periods. It was very, very competitive. I thought the Rangers stuck with them. And, of course, in my mind, I'm saying at least they shut out Draisaitl and McDavid. And lo and behold, about 2 minutes later, he takes that shot, and Igor lets in a soft one.
Oh, here we're starting already, are we?
An undeflected shot.
By the best player.
Anyway. Oh, okay. Well, he's the best goalie in the world. Supposedly, anyway.
No one stops him.
Igor played a great game. Skinner played a great game. I think both teams are playing tight defensively. I mean, Edmonton only had Igor had 20 saves, so they had 23 shots on goal. I mean, Skinner, I'm not saying he was lucky, but JT Miller, I saw like 3 or 4 one-timers on the power play that I'm sure were very close to going in. He was just missing. That's the way. I mean, that's what people don't understand. That one-timer from the circle that Mika takes and Draisaitl and all these high-skilled players, it's a matter of like 2 inches and that puck's in. So some years they go in all the time. Some years they're struggling all the time. They're off that. It's like baseball. It's a millimeter on the bat. Golf, it's a millimeter on the club. Hockey, it's the same thing. They could be a split, a quarter of an inch off on the stick, their foot angle, anything. And, that's what it's a matter of. I think JT hit the post once, too, on that sequence.
Yeah, that was in the first period. He hit one 90 seconds.
No, in the third period. Oh, the first period, they said? I didn't see it. Yeah.
He hammered it. I mean, the net like jiggled like it was almost coming off the moor, and he hit it so hard.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I thought they played a very highly competitive game. That's a fast team.
Yeah, I mean, you got to even dating back to even the Winnipeg, the last 4 games here, they finally are playing like low event, hard defensively. It just almost looks like a different team. It's just like, where has this been all season? That's what's so frustrating. Even when they win, you're like, we knew this team was in there somewhere. That's just
it is a very bizarre thing. I mean, obviously on a much lower level, Coach Ed and I went through in the beginning of the season with Stony Brook, and here we are heading to nationals, so hopefully the same thing rings true for the Rangers, where it's like they head to the playoffs and find a way to sneak in. And I think the biggest thing here is where they're struggling is they can't win 3 in a row. They get the nice overtime win, and then they shut out Columbus, and then you really look for them to, kind of surprise us with a big win against Edmonton, and they just can't get it done. Like you guys are saying, they played really good defensive hockey, but I think even a lot of the players said it in the post game, or the ones that got interviewed at least, like, just got to find a way to put the puck in the net. I think Borgen said that. He's like, we have plenty of chances. We just got to find a way to put it in. And Chris in the chat says you can't take 3 penalties in the first. Especially against Edmonton is probably the best power play. Other than maybe like Tampa, I'm sure they're pretty even, if not, I don't know the percentages, but talent-wise, probably pretty close. But yeah, you look for them to get that win, and especially at home, to make that 3 in a row and make this final push. But they find a way to suck us in, and then it was a nice game. But it's disheartening because it makes it even harder because now they got to win 15 and out of 15 or something like that now, or 11.
Yeah, it's tough because it changes day to day because, it's amazing. We think about a week ago, right, when they lost back-to-back to Ottawa and Columbus, they looked toast. They basically would have to almost win out. But all of a sudden, Columbus loses 3 in a row, and then the Rangers beat them, and bam, they're right there. Montreal's heating up. So they basically, I think, somewhere have to go, what do they have, 14 games left or 15? They have to go 11-4, 10-4, somewhere in there to be safe. But yeah, I saw today 7 straight times since the middle of November they've had a 2-game winning streak going for the third win and can't do it. And it's just a lot of them have been close games too, where they really can't get over the hump. But that's going to be the difference if they get it.
I thought Cuz said it was relatively simple to get in. They just got to. Let me see what he said here.
Well, they need some help now because when they beat Columbus, they were in a good spot. But now
he said they need 10 points in 6 games.
That wouldn't make sense.
That's what he said.
That would be.
That's pretty hard.
10, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, he's saying by the end of March. So he was saying that right now with the next 6 games, and we'll go over this with the upcoming schedule, that if the Rangers go 5-1, which if you look at the schedule, it's realistic, they'll put themselves in a good position, go April, where at that point, Columbus and Montreal only have 1 game in hand each. So they got to pick up some wins here. They have a chance, this week because they play Calgary and Toronto, both of which are going to be on the second of back-to-back. So it's now or never.
You're muted, Coach, or something happened. But, yeah, we'll get into the upcoming schedule later, sponsored by Sorrento's.
But the crazy thing was, I was reading today, and we figured, you look since the beginning of November or whatever, when the Rangers have been a lot better and kind of got back into this race. It's pretty crazy when you think about their last 20 games. You know what the record is, Little Ed?
Last 20?
Mm-hmm.
12-7-1.
9-9-2. That's speaks to how this is a roller coaster. They'll win a few, they'll lose a few, they end up 500. They've technically lost more than they've won the last 20, but they're right there. And that was the episode title, right? Like last week, just when you thought they were out, they pull you back in.
Look, I've been saying it all along. The year Florida went to the finals, not last year, the year before, they barely snuck in the playoffs. When St. Louis won the cup, they barely snuck in the playoffs.
I mean, LA, there's a bunch of examples.
It's a matter of getting to the show and just finding something to focus on and coming together as a team. And I got a shout out to who was that? Chris Vitale, our listener who wanted those line changes. And you can't tell me watching Laffy these last couple of games when they switch these lines that's not a factor, because Laffy is clearly inspired playing on that line. And I said it 4 months ago that Panarin's dragging him down. And it's now that comment you guys sent out. I mean, it's clear he was probably on the line just like, this is ridiculous, but didn't have the balls to say it to him or the coach, And I mean, it's human nature. You go through the motions. Should he? No, but it gets frustrating.
I mean,
shout out to N Vitale. We posted on all of our socials today the clip of you and Chris
too,
teaming that lineup change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you put it on YouTube, PJ, or just Twitter?
I put on Twitter. You did on Instagram. We'll definitely post it on YouTube too. But
yeah,
cool. I was wondering what the next game after they said it too.
Yeah, that was
crazy.
And
Vitale, do you follow us on any of our socials? Shoot us a message or whatever. We tried
to tag you, we couldn't find you.
Yeah, we couldn't find any of your socials. So shoot us a message. What were you gonna say, Coach?
No, I think it's crazy how we said that. Then the next night the lineup was that, and it was.
I mean, the good thing was not only does it help Laffy, it helped Panarin and Trocheck a little bit. I mean, Cooley's added a factor to that line too. He's going to the 100%. Hard areas, and it's now. I feel like they finally have 2 top lines again going at the same time. Forever, it's been one line, or it's just been the bottom 6 lately that have been playing well. So it's finally it creates mismatchups on the other team, and it's tougher for the other coaches too.
Yeah, Chris, I think Coach has been saying the same thing about Trocheck for years. He's got to cover Panarin's faults, and he can't produce as much offensively. But I wanted to go back to the Minnesota game. And, I mean, another consistent player that we've been seeing all year, we wanted to discuss Johnny Brodzinski. and his leadership, or like I guess his veteran leadership, as far as I guess segueing, or lack of a better word, bringing up like the players like Berard, Offman, even Rempe from Hartford, a familiar face, and kind of like bringing them into the NHL. And I think, no secret here, I'm a huge fan of Johnny Brodzinski. He's been, I guess, one of my favorite players in the Rangers for the last couple of years. And we even watched him in Hartford that year, I think. He's just a player. He's probably a pleasure to coach. He probably does everything that Laviolette or the coaching staff asks him to do. He always gives 110%. And these last couple of games, he's been getting rewarded by popping up on the score sheet, making me drink a few times, getting shouted out with the family, right, with Sam Rosen. So we had a ton of family in the game on, what was that, Thursday, I guess Minnesota was, or Friday?
Yeah, it was Minnesota Thursday.
So great to see that. But coach, from I guess coach's perspective, player like Brodzinski, right? You can't teach some of the stuff that he does.
It's one of those things where you just know that the first and second line is the top six are your guys, but you want to play him more because he just does everything you ask. I deal with that. I've been dealing with that for years. It's that conflict in your mind. But, in game situations, you got to get your top guys out there. It's just the fact that they're going to win the games for you generally. And but I watch him play, and the thing that I love is, like, he'll forecheck behind the net. He won't make the play. He'll loop around, and he'll continue to forecheck on the puck, and then he'll make the play. He doesn't do the flyby. He doesn't do the skate away. He turns. He'll stop and start. It's a constant motion. It's just a constant attacking mode, offensively and defensively. He never gives up on the play. And that just shows the hunger of a player like that doesn't have that contract, in my opinion, that just wants to be there, doesn't want to go back to Hartford, doesn't want to retire. He wants that spot. And hopefully he earns it, that third or fourth line spot for a few more years.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool, right? I mean, he really didn't even have a regular spot in the NHL for years until last year. I feel like Laviolette was the first coach to not only give him a chance, but put him in a spot to succeed. I remember Brodzinski had an awesome quote last year talking about how, he just isn't finally in that spot. He was always in a fourth line role or always in a defensive role. Laviolette was putting him in position on the second power play unit and give him opportunities, which
we had to break out the AED on Cousin Ed when that happened a few times.
That makes sense.
Had to call 911.
But no, I mean, it's so, even this year, I mean, the first half of the year, I feel like he only got a handful of games every now and then, but since, the Four Nations break, they can't take him out despite getting all these other guys, depth players in there. He's in there every night. And that line with him, Othman and Rempe, while you want Othman to maybe get a higher role, and they're just clicking right now. I mean, every time they're on the ice, they're in the right side of the ice every time.
Yeah.
And I saw that, there was a great article by Vince Micogliano, and I think Peter Ball in The Athletic had it too, where they really talked about Brodzinski and how, in Minnesota, him and his wife hosted all those Hartford guys. They hosted Othman, Rempe, Jones, Berard, and just letting them go there, take a breath, have fun, smile. And that's what Brodzinski's trying to keep them light, because he talked about how he was intimidated when he first came up as a rookie or just as a new guy. But now, as he was the captain in Hartford, all these guys, loved him down there, and it's so easy for them to have someone to go to and not feel intimidated themselves.
Yeah, I was thinking. Good.
No, it's just a good point that Brodzinski has that leadership role in Hartford, and he still plays like that and mentors guys like that in that same role, even though he's not a captain on the big team, but he still feels like he's in that position to help those guys out. It's a very good character position.
Yeah, even Cooley was raving about him. That's cool. He said he was a key guy for him last year, and then now, look where he's at. Just, it's amazing. These guys have to feel comfortable. We forget, they're not robots or they're not guys from NHL 25. You plug them in, these guys are humans. So, it's tough with a lot of these pressure. Especially
Yeah, it's great to see. It's great to see my boy Jonny B finally getting some recognition around here. So, with that, I think this would be a good spot to move into the coach's corner, sponsored by Bella Italia Marble.
Yeah, want to hit the commercial, and Cousin Ed sounds like he's coming in soon too.
Perfect.
Hey everybody, Coach Ed here. I'm over here in the shop at Bella Italia Marble Granite and Quartz, picking up my order for a nice little bathroom I'm doing. I've been a contractor almost as long as I'm a hockey coach. So listen to me when I tell you, when you want the quality work and craftsmanship, come and see the boys over at Bella. They serve all 5 boroughs, Westchester, Long Island, all the way out to Montauk. Whether you're a Ranger fan, Islander fan, Devils fan, they're going to take care of you no matter what. Make sure you give them a call, 516-561-1018. Let's go Rangers.
All right, boys, bring it in. All right, so we wanted to analyze that play where Laffy was in on the back check. Is that what we were talking about?
Correct.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, there's no secret. We kind of just talked about it earlier that JT Miller has had an effect on a lot of players, and there's also no secret that Laffy's been struggling this entire season, and all of a sudden we've seen these last few games that Laffy is a completely different player, and figured we'd whip out the coach's board here, the whiteboard, and see if you could draw up what we're talking about here and what the effect and the little things Laffy's been doing that make a huge difference.
And then for the fans, this is from the Columbus game in the first period with Lafreniere back checking with Miller.
Yeah, it was like a combination where I don't know who was on Columbus came across. I believe it was almost a mini 3-on-2. And JT Miller came from this side, and Laffy came from this side. So again, in the let's just say pre JT Miller, there's no way Panarin would have been on this side, coming that hard back. So Laffy, instead of saying, "Oh, JT's got him," also challenged him from this side, took the option away from this guy getting away from that back pressure, and they both kind of cornered him. The puck went that way. JT Miller looped towards it. Laffy read it, and he immediately went wide this way, and JT hit him with the cross ice. So, again, it's a matter of never giving up on the puck. I mean, the old adage, I'm pretty sure Valaquette says it multiple times, you only have the puck on your stick in a game. The best player in the world, less than 2 minutes a game. So what you do in these situations creates all kinds of opportunities and chances, helps defensively, obviously, and then it turns the puck up possession-wise that way. If these guys just coast back and wait for the 3-on-2 to happen, it's a high-danger shot, which, to PJ's argument, the last few games before this 4-game stretch, they were giving up 10-plus per game. I watched in that Columbus game. I bet there wasn't even 2.
Yeah, I think Valaquette's chart said 3.
Okay, I didn't hear that, but that's how close the game was, and that's a direct result of players playing well without the puck, not puck watching, skating hard back, and making those plays, not making the line changes at the right time, and helping each other out and cornering a player with the puck, making him make a decision early. That we've been talking about a lot for the last few weeks.
And that's helped the D a lot get better, right? Because they can get better gaps.
100%. It helps the D challenge the player. They're ready to just take the puck and go. In that case, they didn't even have to challenge the player. Miller and Laffy got their sticks on stick, and the puck came loose, and it just turned up. So it makes the goalies play, the D's play 100% easier.
And a big thing is, like I say a lot too, is like back check with a purpose. Like it's one thing to like just skate hard to kind of like, I don't know, show off for the coach, like to make it look like you are back checking, but it's another thing to actually back check and pick up a guy or create that turnover, create that back pressure, So back checking or even forechecking with a purpose is like very important.
100%.
What's up, boys?
What's up?
He's
Cousin
back.
Ed has joined us.
I missed the board. I missed Coach laying out
Yeah,
probably a beautiful
You didn't
play
miss
here.
much. We didn't miss much. We just stumbled through the weekend recap, talked a little about Stony Brook. So now we got Coach Ed on the board.
Chugging
Enjoying
Guinness.
St. Patrick's Day.
All right, that makes sense.
No, but I mean, to top on the Laffy thing, and Vitale brings this up too. And it was last night where, he made his bad pass. We talked about this in the group chat where, he made that cross ice pass, but he immediately dove and broke up the stretch pass up the ice. So, I mean, same idea. Would he have done that before JT?
It's not a question of would he have. He didn't. So no, he didn't. Now he's doing it.
Yep.
So to me, that's a difference. He's playing more inspired.
That's
how
certainly what's sucking you back into to this team, right? Like finally, guys are waking up. Like Panarin woke up a few games ago. We've seen Mika, Trocheck's finally scoring again. Lafreniere, a little bit of wake up. I mean, it's like all of a sudden, if these guys can click, that's what gives you hope if they get in. Gotta string something together.
you there's no way you could deny the fact that JT has inspired Mika's game and Laffy right now. Because Mika is definitely playing with an edge that I don't think I've seen in 5 years.
Yeah, his
Maybe
physicality
ever.
of this game, my gosh.
Yeah, I just can't believe what he's doing as far as, and again, not killing anybody, but just playing that brand of hockey where you have that offensive skill and you have a little edge to you. You're playing a little bit with an edge, and you're not just doing skateaways or turning away, which he was doing the whole first half of the season. Plus, now he's engaging. He's getting a little physical. He's getting body position. He's making some plays. He's making a lot more plays, and he's getting more points. Obviously.
Do you think Panarin's thinking, like, when is it my turn to play with JT? Like, is it going to be like a constant rotation just to get, like, people going?
I don't want Panarin to think that. I want Panarin to say they might get rid of me. I better wake up. He shouldn't need JT Miller, just like Mika shouldn't. But he has Trocheck, which is just as good of, just as inspiring of a leader. I mean, he had him last year. He put up all kinds of points. So what else? He can't be selfish and say, "Oh, why am I not playing with him?" He's got to just take that line to another level. Also, you got Cooley and Trocheck on that line. If you don't skate hard playing with those two guys, I don't know what you need.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I mean, did you guys talk about Panarin making a joke to Laffy on the bench yet in this topic?
Just now, kind of, but we didn't talk about that part specifically.
But yeah, Laffy, I'm sure you saw the clip, Laffy's reaction. He made, an errant pass and goes to the bench, and Panarin kind of said something to him like, "Hey, a nice pass," or whatever. Who knows what he said. And Laffy, he tells him, "Shut the F up," and you see his determination on the bench. It's like, where has that come from? Where's that been all season? From Laffy. He's kind of been floating around with Panarin. So, yeah, I got to agree with you guys on that JT definitely is having an effect in the locker room. It was never going to be an overnight thing, too, right? That's the other thing, right? That mentality that he brings to the organization wasn't going to just happen overnight where all of a sudden everyone was going to be playing well. It takes time. It takes his impact in the locker room to kind of flourish, and you just hope that it carries over not just the rest of this season but into next season, because this season could be no playoffs, right? But next season you hope that it doesn't happen again. So hopefully that mentality sticks. I don't know. Panarin, I don't know, Coach. I think he might need someone like that, though. He's not. You guys have been talking about it. He's not a play driver in that sense, right? He's not going to galvanize. He's a play driver in the sense that he'll make guys around him better, but he's not necessarily in the sense of, let's go to war, and that kind of a mindset. He's not going to do that.
Yeah, but he is definitely. He's got the A on his chest, and he is a. How many years in the league now? 8 or 10.
10.
If
Well,
you're
he's
on
got
the
the-
bench, he doesn't have to play with him to be inspired. If you're on the bench and you see the action going on, Laffy's 23 years old, pretty much like a rookie mentality. He's still learning. Panarin's in the league. Laffy needs a player like that. Panarin shouldn't need a player like that. Like Mika shouldn't need it, but he can't be everywhere. So Panarin's got to wake up. I'm not giving Panarin the edge. He can't be selfish and say, "Why don't I get him?" He's got to fucking wake up.
Well, Coach, unfortunately, players are what they are, and you can't make guys into certain players.
Exactly what I said. So that to me, make the move very soon.
Well, he's got 1 year left on his deal, Coach. So
make it in the summer. Don't go another season with us chasing and Panarin just going through the motions and putting in goals that are the 5th and 6th goal of the game.
He did have a big one versus Columbus.
All right, one.
he scored some big goals for the Rangers, actually.
I know he has.
He's been probably the most productive Ranger per game in history. He's one of the best free agent signings ever. I mean, the whole Panarin
tenure right now.
Well, I'm just saying the whole Panarin tenure shouldn't be looked at as like a failure. But yeah, right now, no, I know, but I don't want to. I just don't want to rewrite history. If you want to go forward, I don't disagree. I'd be open to moving Panarin ASAP. But I'm just saying that doesn't mean that he's been a bad Ranger or he stinks or any of that crap. It's more so that the team needs to go in a different direction soon. And if he can bring back, pieces. I saw online somebody compared it to Marian Gaborik when he was traded. And if you think of that trade, the Rangers traded Gaborik. They got back Brassard, Derek Dorsett, John Moore. PJ would correct me.
Very good.
Yeah, John Moore, right? So John Moore ends up getting used in a deal for Keith Yandel. Brassard turns into Mika. Right, two pretty important moves. The Yandel for that 1 year.
Understate how good Brassard was while he was here,
and they got all those years of Brassard as well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they got Brassard for a few years at the top of his game, and then they turned him into Mika, who's now, one of the best Rangers ever too. I mean, I don't know if that's bad for the organization or what, but he's also up there. In Rangers history.
What's the point of this whole conversation?
The point is that trading Panarin for a couple of guys like that isn't necessarily, a signal that we have to rebuild or anything like that.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we need to move him. We need to move him and get different parts. That's all.
Right, and then those
Huberdeau type deal.
The tough thing is Panarin's got to do a move.
Yeah,
so he's got to say yes to any trade.
Where would he even want to go? Florida?
Florida was the first thing I thought of with Bobrovsky, their best buds.
They just took on all that cap with Seth Jones. I don't know if that's going to happen. But.
No.
All right.
Well, they would have to move out another big contract.
We got another play for Coach to draw up, or is that it?
What was the one, the Lafreniere goal I sent you, Coach, where Mika forechecked?
Well, again, that was just showing Mika coming in hard on the puck, and instead of trying to do that little reverse hit bull crap that he was doing all season, he gets the inside edge on the guy. The goalie comes out to kind of play the loose puck, but Mika beats the D to the other side, gets body position, taps it back past the goalie, and Laffy drives hard to the net again, getting body position on the D and gets the tap in goal. So, the line is moving in a positive direction, and one guy isn't watching. Two guys aren't watching one guy do all the work. They're all moving in the right direction.
That's what you want to see, because that's definitely like playoff Lafreniere. He was going hard to in straight lines. That they need him back like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Laffy was playing real well in the playoffs last year. He was playing with that edge. Mika's playing with an edge now. Obviously, JT's got the edge. So that line, if they all play with that little bit of physicality, and JT will throw the bombs, but the other two guys just have to play with that. I don't know what the word I would call it is, just that what would be the word? What do you guys think I'm talking about? You know what I mean? Where you're playing hockey, you're not playing roller hockey. You're playing
Snarl.
NHL. Little snarl.
Yeah, a little snarl. They say that a lot on the radio. A little just playing with an edge, I guess.
Yeah, physicality.
Snarl's the way
It's
to
just
go.
like, it's just like you can't shy away from anything. I know, like, a lot of people say like the regular season doesn't matter. It's all about playoffs, but you got to get there. And I've been saying it a lot on this last couple episodes that like the NHL is taking like a big turn where like the regular season is like really just it's like another notch, like it used to be like, all right, like after New Year's it would pick up, or like after the trade deadline it would pick up, but like that time is like creeping further and further back, where like if you get off to a slow start, like you're screwed. And we're seeing it now with the Rangers. Like last season we didn't really pay attention to it because the Rangers were lights out, like start to finish. This season, like I said, like in the NHL, if you get off to a slow start, it's really hard to fight back from that.
It's a tough climb for sure.
Certainly,
like if you don't have a good off season, like preparing and a good training camp, and come out firing, it's tough. Sorry,
Okay.
PJ.
No. I was going to say exactly what you said. So you took the words out.
The only positive behind it is, like I was saying before, if you go to those teams that came out of nowhere and made it in the playoffs and got to the finals, like the LA team, the Florida team, the St. Louis team, is you get that momentum, but it's a very high risk to get in. So I wouldn't say that should be your game plan. Yeah, you want to start off strong, like you said, for sure. But on a positive note, if they do get in playing well, they're in that level where they need to be, where they don't have to find it.
Well,
so they got to get in. It's going to be tough, but they're making it too close.
Yeah, they're basically playing playoff games now. So, I mean, they won't have to click on the switch like in previous years.
Yeah, it's brutal.
So are a lot of teams.
I just remember last year, having those heart attack moments for 14 games of the entire season, pretty much roller coaster emotions. This year, I feel like I've been having roller coaster emotions since the end of the 4-15 stretch, pretty much. They're up, they're down, they're up, they're down. Oh, they're in a good spot. Now they're in a bad spot. This team has a game in hand. That team has 2 games in hand. Now they're even in games. And it's just, how do you follow these games as a fan and not get stressed out or overelated every win, every loss? It's crazy. It's really hard, but
almost within games too, right? It's crazy.
And imagine how they feel, right? I mean, we're fans. Like, they get interviewed right after a loss to Edmonton, where they played well in the game, right? And then they have to sit there and be like, oh, we got to forget about it. Like, you think it's easy to forget about it? But they put themselves in the spot. That's what PJ would say. I know that's.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, right? If they didn't go that 4-15 stretch, we wouldn't be talking about this.
I still say if they just went 4-11-4, they're comfortably in. It's like crazy.
You're not wrong.
It's crazy. All right. Well,
should we do
where
jersey
we at?
profile?
You've been hosting, so yeah, go to jersey profile.
I was gonna say, if you wanted to quickly, I mean, those JT Miller quotes from the Vince Mercogliano article to kind of tie a bow on the JT Miller talk.
Oh yeah, I mean, I sent you guys the quotes earlier. So one was from Brodzinski. He said, it's exactly what we needed. I don't know a lot of games prior to Miller's arrival, which is in parens, where we were putting up that many hits or creating that many loose puck battles that we're winning. He's definitely brought that level of bite that we needed, which says a lot. Brodzinski's a pretty honest guy. He's a 3rd, 4th liner, 13th forward type. So he's always pretty honest, I feel like, in his interviews. And to say flat out, like before he came, we weren't winning puck battles. I mean, you don't see that a lot. So I thought that was telling. And then JT's quote, he says, I definitely come off as angry. I can relate. He then says, people may not like that, but I don't really give a shit what they think. So you got to love that too.
That's the quote I love. That's the quote I love.
I mean, it's good that he doesn't care, but when you're, it's tough, man. When you're in a lot, we talked about this when they got him, like little Ed. I mean, you're in a locker room. There's that one guy. He like cares a lot, and he's got a little bit of an attitude. He calls people out. Like it can sometimes motivate you, and it sometimes can alienate people in the room too. So there's like a balance. Let's see how it goes. Though with Trocheck, I think it's been good to have him there to kind of buffer between JT and the rest of the team. So
I mean, there was even a good quote by Mika in there too, because a lot of people were worried, would Mika be the Pedersen of the Rangers? Soft-spoken Swede, but Mika's like, I love talking to him. I'm a guy who likes to think out ideas and talk on the bench and on the ice, and he does the same thing. You could see that before, on the bench or before a face-off, they're always chatting about something. So it's keeping Mika engaged. It's probably the reason why he's having so much success lately.
I mean, let's talk about the other big key move that's giving Brodzinski the slot is putting Mika on the wing. That opens up another center spot. That's been key.
I mean, how's it been key? I think it makes the center depth a lot weaker. I don't know. I mean, I would love Mika to play center, frankly. But I think he's doing so well on the wing, it's tough to move him off that spot. But I think the Rangers' center depth is weak and their wing depth is strong. So it's almost like if Mika could just play center and drive his own line, you could put Othman on the third line. You can find more spots in the lineup. But I mean, Brodzinski has played really well, so it hasn't been an issue. But if he, falters at any point or falls back to the mean, then I think it can become a problem.
But I don't think he will. He's not that kind of player. He's going to go 100% through the end of the season, and Carrick is more than an adequate. Well, not adequate, I shouldn't say. It'd be nice if he scored more, but he's a very good third-line center, which you're not missing a beat with.
You think he's a third-line center, Carrick?
Right now, he's playing third-line center, and he's doing a very good job. He's in every game. He's not Filipino playing 5 games, missing 5 games. He's in every game. He's showing consistency. The line mates know what to expect. He plays 200 feet. The line mates follow that lead. It's all there. It's not all about.
They're playing well, but they're not scoring, right? So are they getting any goals from the bottom 6? I mean, that's the issue, right? So they're playing well, though. I agree. I'm not criticizing Carrick. He's doing exactly what they're paying him to do. But yeah, I mean, dude, who knows? Like, this team is going to figure it out or not down the stretch. And I think, you're right about Mika on the wing in the sense that he's playing so well there. You got to leave him. Especially with JT because of that effect. But
I found the interesting quote, the interesting thing by Valaket last night, if you guys watched the post game. He talked about having JT on one side of the power play and Mika on the other. He said it reminded him of Stamkos and Kucherov with the one-timer from both sides of the ice. And
I've been saying that for a few years. They need a lefty over on the other side.
Yeah,
we've all been saying that.
I'm just saying, he talked about it and it's happening. So it adds another opening to the power play. It's a matter of if one of them could put one of those one-timers in the net.
Yeah. Except that Miller and Zibanejad have missed the net every time they take a one-timer. So,
yeah, the power play definitely needs to get going. Although at least they're creating chances I feel like for a few games before Fox came back, more than a few games, they weren't even getting chances. Period. So at least they're getting opportunities lately. So hopefully
they had some good chances last night. That was a good power play, a couple of good ones. Of course, they didn't finish, but there were a couple of good opportunities, a lot of good opportunities.
Bunch of expected goals on that power play, Coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
A bunch. But yeah.
Does that mean Stuart Skinner passed Igor on the list?
No, he wouldn't have passed. He's well behind Igor. Yeah.
I still don't know what that means, but yeah, there were a lot.
I think like at this point you have to be trolling that you don't know what it means. It's like not that.
It's just a ridiculous. It's a ridiculous stat to me.
It's not the stat; it's just the way.
Let's not even go there. We don't have a lot of time.
You don't get to just bash it and then not get.
It's a ridiculous stat.
It is not
know
ridiculous.
That is, I don't
We talked
like
about it, Coach. It's just the amount of scoring chances. The more high danger chances you have,
The better you're playing.
expected goals.
No, that's
just
high
the
danger
correlation.
chances.
Who defines the high danger chance?
The company that's
defines it?
assessing the company that is assessing the data. So that's why you have to go to the source. And if I'm doing it from my naked eye on my couch, don't trust it. But if it's a company like ClearSight Analytics or something like that, Valaket's got an eye on it. He's got people involved. You can trust that data, right? Evolving
He's
Hockey.
got a bunch of guys like you watching every game.
Well, he's got people that he's paying to do it, I'm sure.
Right.
And I would trust his company's data,
Yeah,
but
they're
anyway.
management track, and the other sites are looking at shot location. So the public sites, so it's not necessarily always the most accurate because it's not taking into account who's shooting it and
Exactly.
if it's like a legitimate good shot or not. But
Exactly.
Valaket's are. That's the difference. So his are
Right.
more trustworthy.
No.
Anyway,
Right.
Coach
All
is
right,
just being
I
stubborn.
understand. I understand, guys. I'm good. I got it.
Yeah, well, you said you didn't. So
Until
now,
next
now that
episode.
Now I do. Now I
so now that you do, we can move on. Let's
Until
do the
next
jersey.
episode.
Let's do the jersey profile, Ed. Sponsored by Blue Line Blue Shirts, because you've been holding that until I got here, because this one is a big one. Sam Rosen gets 40 for 40 years as a broadcaster for the New York Rangers. He's in the National Jewish Sports Hall of Fame, 2008 inductee, and the Hockey Hall of Fame, 2016. So if you go there and you go to the what's the place called with the plaques again? The Grand
Grand Hall.
Grand Hall, I think. God,
Okay.
my mind
It's
was
been a year,
blank.
and I forget too.
If you go there, make sure you go in and you pull the Sam Rosen plaque, and it's to the left. It's in there, man. So he's.
I should have put that video. Let me see if I can find it.
Wow, look at that. That's awesome. So Sam Rosen, if you guys saw the commercial,
I'll put it up.
if you saw the commercial, you'll recognize something here. Oh, I thought you were going to play it.
No, this is the very beginning of they just posted a new commercial on Instagram, MSG Network's Instagram. So here we go.
Yeah, so this is MSG Network's Instagram page. You see the Rosen 40.
That I have watched the greatest players in the world play at the top of their profession.
But yeah, right there.
So,
There it is.
PJ, I gotta put your cell phone on my I guess my favorites list or whatever, because I'm talking to my daughter on the phone, watching the game just ended, talking to EA the PA. I'm watching the TV with one eye. I see the plaque in the commercial. So I'm like, holy shit, that's Eddie's plaque. I go, Aaron, I gotta call Eddie. I hang up the phone. I call Eddie, of course, no answer. So Kathy goes, call Lindsay. I call, well, the game just ended. You couldn't have shut your eyes immediately. I call Lindsay, no answer. So I go to Cousin Ed. If Cousin Ed didn't answer, PG, I needed someone else to call. So you got to be on the list. You're on the emergency list. You're the fourth in the call list.
I'm honored.
So anyway, that's true. So Coach notices the commercial on MSG includes this plaque that you just saw signed by Sam Rosen to Eddie, or whatever it said.
Well, I made two of them.
You made two of what?
I made two plaques. One I have.
Right.
That's Sam signed.
That Sam Rosen signed, and one Sam got to keep, which is in the commercial.
No, yeah, that's what I was going to explain. You explained it. You're the one who made it. I was exactly what I was going to explain. So that's the exact same plaque. It's just one was for Sam from Little Ed's workshop, which, by the way, I see Paul saying sweet plaques. If you want a plaque, maybe. I don't know if he's making the plaques, but talk to Little Ed here. He's the one who made it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to post the Sam Rosen one now.
So then you watch the show on MSG right after the game. It was called, I forget what Kathy said, Mr. Hockey or whatever. It's a 15-minute show that Sam Rosen goes through his career, kind of. He starts it off in his den, showing all his memorabilia that fans have sent him, and Eddie's plaque is right in the back, on the top of the dresser, on top of the chest or whatever he's got there, right there. And he goes, "These are things the fans have sent me over the years. I can't say that I appreciate it." And it's sitting right there.
It wasn't even fans. It's things that fans sent him. He had it sitting next to one of the bricks from the Philadelphia Spectrum that he got from like the Flyers.
Right.
And like something from the Hall of Fame. It wasn't. I don't think it was all fans, but yeah, it was.
He had like a bunch of like his like very cherished mementos.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I said it last week or whenever we talked about it. When I gave it to him, he looked at it and he said, "Wow, I'm gonna put this somewhere." He didn't like, throw it in a closet. He really looked at it and liked it. He wasn't like, "Oh wow, all right, well,
Well, that's the jersey that's gonna hang in the rafters one day. So
yeah. But he he really took a liking to it and he didn't brush it off. And obviously, he was true to his word, and he put it somewhere significant.
Yeah, and then I'm scrolling Instagram today, and I see this. I had to send it right away. I was like, they have it zoomed in on it just for the beginning of this little clip. I mean, they're
like, oh, that's perfect for the intro to the video. It's like.
But weren't we just talking about it last week, saying I wonder what he did with it or something? Weren't we discussing that? And I said Micheletti really liked it. I thought we were talking about it.
Yeah, we did, and you were like, "Well, Micheletti definitely hung it up somewhere or something."
Yeah,
and pretty. It's just, I don't know. I don't really know what to say. Like, it's like I wish, I don't know, if MSG or if someone is listening that has a connection to MSG, like, love to be featured, like all of us, like for the podcast or for the workshop or something. It'd be great.
Wait, you're not going to be one of those. Not going to be one of those douches on the commercial.
I'd love to be one of those guys in the commercial. Are you kidding me? But I mean, shout out to Sam. I mean, thank you. I mean, like I said, it's like next to like one of his or all of his like most cherished things, like on his little cabinet there. Like we have our Ranger room, and Sam's probably not allowed to have a Ranger room, so he just has like his little nook with all of his things, and it's pretty crazy to see it there. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're going to show that commercial like 1,000 times now because it's like Sam Rosen week and for the rest of the season and stuff like that. So, yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know what else to say, really. I mean, hopefully, fans, if you guys want one, obviously not for free, but shoot me a message and I'll get around to it soon. But, it's pretty cool stuff, man.
And shout out to you, Bud, for coming up with the idea of doing that like a jersey. It was a great idea.
Yeah.
It's I gotta say, with your little speech there that you just gave, it was clip worthy and should be sent to MSG, except for the fact that Coach Ed interrupted you and said, "Oh, you're not gonna be a douche on TV," or whatever his question was.
How come every time I'm trying to like promote something, you guys just interrupt me? It's like it's constant, it's always the card game, then it's just I can't just ever get it out. Now I gotta go back and clip it.
Then you gotta edit that,
that
question out. Or just do it again. We won't interrupt you. We'll go on.
No, I'm not doing it again.
Just repeat yourself.
Chris had a comment here that I think is pretty funny, that Sam Rosen should get the Steve McDonald Extra Effort Award for having this be his last season. He probably should. That or the fans.
Be a nice gesture.
I gotta say, he's gonna. It's obviously, it's going to be a very emotional time, but a lot of these, to me, what's touching is these arenas. He goes around to all these arenas. I mean, if we went to other arenas, I wouldn't know their announcer. You know what I'm saying? I have no idea who these announcers are, but like Rick Nash presents them with this and the fans are cheering. But I guess it's mostly Ranger fans at those games cheering, probably, right?
Yeah.
Did anyone find it odd when they were in Columbus and Nash gave him the jersey, but John Davidson didn't?
Yeah, I did find that a lot.
I get it. Like maybe they didn't want John Davidson on when he was in New York playing Columbus, but that just felt strange to me.
I like Nash doing it.
I think JD and the Rangers have something, there's something there. I'm sure behind closed doors, JD.
I think JD's very humble too. I think he in that show he has a nice little segment where he talks about Sam. I just think he's very humble, and he probably said, "Let the player Rick Nash give it." He announced his name a lot and stuff, so I think he was. That's what I want to believe.
Maybe.
I don't think he would hold it against Sam because he has something going with the Rangers. I don't think he's that type of person, personally, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. It's crazy. I mean, he's a legend, and he's been the voice of the Rangers since 1984. So that's quite a long time. It's my entire life. It's a lot of people's entire lives. So it's just going to change next season. It's going to be weird, and we'll just see. We'll see if the next person can develop the same rapport with the fans that he was able to do over the years. Whether they're joking around, had his faux pas, or he's just got legendary calls or his signature calls. He's just a great hockey announcer just overall to listen to. And, you really get that when you listen to like ESPN Plus and you watch these other games. Like, I know a lot of fans are like, oh, Sam, he said that guy's name in a weird way, or everyone's got a comment. But when you put on like a Panthers game, guys, like, it's not, no offense to their announcers, but it's just not the same. Columbus game, whatever. There's very few guys in the league who can do it like Sam. So it's going to be tough, I think, for the next person to step into his shoes. Kind of like when Lundqvist was gone. Like, who's the next goalie? Like, that's a lot. That's a lot to follow, right? Like, it's tough. So we'll see.
I'm sure Sam felt that way about the guy that he replaced, right? I mean, his mentor was what was his name? Gordon or something, I think.
Jim Gordon.
Yep.
Jim Gordon.
And then he also worked a lot with Marv Albert, Kenny Albert's dad, right? So,
Marv was Marv was the radio.
Marv was the radio, but I
He
think
never did play-by-play on TV that I can remember. But think about the guys who he's done it with. He actually announced with Phil Esposito, who then became GM and coach.
But I think Sam filled in for Marv on radio first.
Is that what happened?
I think, but I have to look that up. Sorry to cut you off. What'd you say?
I'm saying, think about the guys who commentated with him. Phil Esposito, who later after that became GM and coach, and then JD, who went on to have a great president career with other teams. He was always like involved with these people that it must have been he looked up to, and he learned a lot from.
Yeah.
And they're doing the Sam tribute game Saturday afternoon, the Garden. Be really cool if they let him. I remember him saying before this season he was hoping they would let him in the locker room pregame to say something to the players. I really hope they do it. How could that not get you fired up if he went into the locker room for the game?
Yeah.
They'll blow that game.
Little fun fact: his last name is actually Rosenblum, and he moved here from Germany to Brooklyn right after World War II when he was 2 years old.
Wow, that's crazy. Well,
Nice
for those who care, Columbus lost in regulation. FYI.
Yeah, it's big.
Chris just told everybody in the chat as well.
One of the games in hand that they had on the Rangers, so that's important. So now, even if Columbus wins that other game in hand, they're tied with the Rangers, and the Rangers have the tiebreaker. So now Montreal just needs to lose some games because they did not lose. Jeez.
Well, the Rangers got to win too. So
that goes without saying.
Anyway, show that Sam Rosen plaque one more time, and then we'll move off this. Look at the quality of that, and the numbers are raised, right? So the wood it's like carved on there nice. It's not flat.
Well, yeah, the numbers are their own pieces of wood painted and glued onto the plaque, and the stripes as well are all pieces of wood separate.
Yeah, what'll let
Sam Rosen's signature? It's a power play goal, Hall of Fame.
It
Pretty
would have made
unbelievable stuff.
it wasn't a Sam one, but he
What-
did that from the Stadium series, and yeah, I can tell you guys the quality is awesome. It's in my
When you
range.
contact the guard and say that you want to talk to Sam about the plaque, just make sure you let him know the age you are and that it wasn't like a 10-year-old kid.
No, you definitely should. I think reach out from the podcast account, dude, and say like, "Hey, that I made that plaque. I'm not looking for anything. I'm just glad to know that Sam cherishes it, and just let him know, whatever, and just see where it goes from there. We'll see.
Be great.
Yeah, you never know.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit. You guys didn't talk about Schneider and K'Andre yet, so let's jump into that. I wanted to bring this up. I think these are two players who've been up and down this year. I think everyone would agree. They're two young defensemen. We take them one by one here. Schneider, third pairing guy. When Trouba was traded, a lot of people thought he would jump into a top 4 role. He did briefly. Then they got Borgen. Now he's back in the third pair. How are we going to get him more ice time? Just a lot of criticism of Schneider not being able to seize the opportunity with his inconsistent play. And I just saw it in the past 3 to 5 games. He looks like a completely different player. And PJ will attest to this. I've been saying, I don't want to trade Schneider. I'm not trading him. No, I'm not including him in that. No, I agree with not trading him. A lot of fans online are trade him. And I just think with defensemen, it's different than forwards. It's just different. I mean, he's a big, young defenseman with like 200 NHL games under his belt already. He's developing. He's not a finished product. He's going to have ups and downs, and this is an up right now, right, PJ? I mean, I think he's been playing well. He's been pushing the pace and playing better defensively, positionally, physically.
Yeah, he's making big plays. I mean, he started kind of in that first Columbus game, they got blown out. He made that big play on the shorthanded goal, and then it feels like he's finally jumping again. I kind of feel like his first couple of years he was doing that, especially he was reading off Panarin real well. I remember he was darting in and out of the zone, and then speaks to that OT winner in Minnesota. Boy, I did not see that move coming. Holy shit. Got me out of my seat. My jaw was on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go with the stats, right?
Yeah, I wanted to just kind of the stats do back it up. I mean, he had a couple of tough games, like the Columbus game, oddly, even though the Rangers didn't give up much. His expected goals is 44%. But against Minnesota and Edmonton, it was almost 56% in Minnesota and over 60% against Edmonton. So it is backing up that when he's on the ice, the Rangers are controlling most of the play. So that's good to see.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to make sure it's not just, and when it's both eye tests and analytics, then what you're looking at is accurate. Little Ed, what are your thoughts on Schneider? I mean, overall in the season, generally, do you think he's been up and down all year? Do you think he's had a down year? Do you think he's had an up year? Like, what is your general thoughts with him and then his play recently?
I mean, I think overall the team's had a down year, I think. I mean, he's one of those players where, I guess we were expecting him to continue to, get better.
Ascend,
progress, whatever. And he kind of just stayed the same, maybe took a slight step back. But at the same time, it's like we've been saying all his whole career, he's been playing with a different player. He hasn't been comfortable or hasn't got a chance to be comfortable or consistent. And I think not really finally he's found that, but not to tie it again with JT Miller, but it's really just how the whole team is playing. And we said it on the last episode, the best defense is a good offense sometimes. So when the puck is in the offensive zone a lot and the team is forechecking and doing the right things in the offensive zone, it gives the defense a lot easier time to breathe and to not have to always defend and have a chance to think about those things of joining the play and joining the rush. So when the play is being controlled in the offensive zone and the team is forechecking, cycling, doing the right things, covering for the defenseman when they pinch, things like that, it really just opens up things for a lot of players. And we're seeing it with K'Andre too, whereas we're starting to see a little bit more of maybe his offensive abilities where he's getting a little bit more confidence with the puck. He's joining the play also, making some better passes in the offensive zone. Maybe not necessarily the defensive zone, but at least in the offensive zone, he's showing a little bit more of that offensive flair. And like I said, you're able to do that as a defenseman when you're not always constantly backing up and defending. You know, so like not to tie it in and rip on Panarin, but like players like Panarin, when they just dump the puck in or send the puck cross ice, all of a sudden as a defenseman, you're trying to join the play, and all of a sudden Panarin sends it cross ice, and you're like, oh shit, you got to pivot and go back the other way. How many defensemen in the league are able to do that consistently the entire game? There's not many, you know. So I mean, that's just another aspect of it where, like I said, best offense or the best defense is a good offense sometimes.
Yeah, and just to piggyback that, I think other than, you know, maybe Jacob Slavin and Gustav Forsling, every single defenseman in the NHL makes mistakes, you know? So it's like you can't just highlight their mistakes. It's just not a good way to analyze the defenseman.
You just gave me PTSD with Forsling in that Rangers series.
I mean, he just never makes a mistake.
Oh my God, he doesn't make a mistake.
He just never
Always
makes a
in the
mistake.
right spot. It's insane.
Coach, your thoughts on Schneider? It's your boy. So let's talk Schneider, and then we'll move to K'Andre. I'll lead off with you on K'Andre when we get to. You're on mute, bud. You're on mute, Coach. You're muted.
I wish I could unmute him. I couldn't.
You guys covered quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
It's no secret he's been having an off season, and I've said it a few times. It was a little disappointing, but I don't know if he's not tradable. I love him. Obviously, everybody who listens knows that. But I mean, if you're going to put him in a trade for Brady Tkachuk, I mean, I'm not going to say don't do it.
Okay, sure, yeah.
But if you're going to do it for, if you're going to do it for a second and third pick or something ridiculous like that, then no way.
No, there's a lot of like lateral. There's a lot of lateral type trades.
Got to be a significant trade. Then I would say you throw him in as a player, yeah. But I just think he's got a great attitude, great coachability, wants to learn, plays hard, and I don't think he'll repeat this kind of a season again if the team goes in the right direction.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and sorry to cut you off, but like, dude, obviously, like if you're getting, you know, Brady Tkachuk, McDavid, you know, whatever, yeah, you trade Schneider. That's not what people are saying though. They want to do like a lateral type move, like Schneider for like a left-handed shot D who's similar in age and potential.
No.
I just want to remind people about Schneider. So I just looked this up now. Schneider is 23 years old. He's played 274 NHL games already as a defenseman. Mackenzie Weegar, for example, who's just a random name I typed in who I thought of for no reason. He at the end of his age 23 season, he had played 3 NHL games with 0 points. And he's now a really good defense, 31 years old now. It took him a long time. By the time he hit 27, 28, he became so it's like not every player develops on the same curve, but like defensemen take a while usually. I mean, the guy hit the NHL at 20 years old. You know, what we're seeing is pretty damn good for a 23-year-old defenseman. I think even Adam Fox didn't even make the NHL until he was 22 or 23 years old, right? So
yeah, junior year at college.
Right. So, I mean,
not only that, he's 23 with a ton of playoff experience already.
Yeah, and people are like, oh, if he doesn't, make the first pair or second pair, you got to move. Why? Like, he's really just developing. He's learning how to play in the league still. Anyway, I digress. K'Andre Miller, another guy who's taken a beating this year from Coach and Little Ed in particular, but also a lot of the internet.
You gave him a little shit, though.
He was pretty bad. He was pretty bad. I also did too. Yes, I know.
At the beginning of the season, he was horrendous. His contract year. Oof.
Yeah, he was pretty bad. He wasn't putting up any points. Every game, I feel like, we talked about how Miller and Zibanejad were the culprits for why they lost. It was like a turnover by Miller, goal. Zibanejad not covering the right guy, goal. It was like every game. So K'Andre was really bad, but he also deserves credit when he's playing well. And Coach has been harping on this subtly in the last few episodes. He's been really playing well, man. I mean, he stands out like.
What do you mean really? Subtly? I gave him defensive player of the game or whatever. How much more do you want me to give him?
That's not even an award.
Well, whatever I gave him something.
You gave him player of the week? I don't remember that.
I gave him something.
Twice. Once when Little Ed missed the episode, and I couldn't believe it. I texted Little Ed immediately. Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Okay, so
It was
not
like
subtly,
a month
pretty
ago,
overtly.
and then
Then.
2 episodes ago, Coach did it.
I don't remember that, but yeah, overtly, he's
I know
doing it.
you have selective memory.
No, I just feel like you've been subtly saying that. I don't remember you doing that, but you've been like, oh, K'Andre's been good. Like you make it a point to go out of your way to be like, he's been good, but it's not like a whole topic. That's what I meant.
The thing I like about what he's doing now, which I notice he's doing, I mean, not a lot, but I see him making those little head fake moves, kind of like Adam Fox moves, where he's not giving the puck right away. He's not just sending it around. He's making a little deke in the defensive zone, then making an outlet pass. That's what I've been noticing he's doing more, which I think is definitely a mature process that he's getting to, hopefully. I don't want to get overly excited because I was like that at the end of last year or the year before, I forget, and we'll see what happens. But I definitely like what I like what I'm seeing in him now. He's physical, another step physical, and moving the puck.
I just watched him defend McDavid, and I was really impressed. I mean, for the most part, I know on that goal, there's a little bit of a gap control issue there. But there were multiple times McDavid came down with speed. Miller was step for step with him. He used his reach. He poked it. He kept him to the side, whatever. He ends up stealing the puck, I think 2 or 3 times in the game. So I was really impressed. And listen, that's why you draft a kid like that who has the speed and the size for defending those kinds of players. And he has not gotten himself to a point where he could be trusted to do that in a meaningful game. And he's playing well here. So, I'm not saying he may turn around in 2 weeks and look terrible or start next season with the same, issues, with the inconsistencies. It could happen. But if it clicks for this guy, he's going to be a stud. It's got to just click. Just something's got to click in his head because he's got it. When he's on, he's good. He's really
got to find his tool bag.
I was waiting for little Ed to chime in.
He says it all the time. He's a tool bag with no tools or a tool with no tool bag.
No, he's got all the tools that everyone says. He's got all the tools, but he doesn't have the tool bag. He's got nothing to put it in to figure it out or put it all together to organize it.
It's just piled on the floor.
Yeah, he either has a really good offensive game or he plays good defense or, he's got some head fakes. Oh, he's playing this. He's doing – all right, let's put it all together for a couple games in a row.
On that play where McDavid scored when you were talking about him not reading that's a play where McDavid comes out with the speed and I think there were like 3 guys there and all 3 guys don't know which guy is going to make a move to defend him. That to me, that's kind of like a little communication issue where one guy should come across, but it didn't happen because maybe he thought the other guy was going to, and then you're afraid to come across because he could beat you on the outside. So it's a little hesitation move. Let's forget the fact that it was a savable shot, but the D made a little mistake.
He's just so good, McDavid, that you're bound to give him a little bit of space to not get burned because he can easily slip right by you, So it's just natural, I think, to want to do that. But he had done such a good job in the game against McDavid that I was disappointed because, he's sitting. McDavid's entering, the slot area, and Miller's kind of sitting at the top of the circle, gliding backwards. You're giving him too much space. He's going to create something, and he's so good that he doesn't need much space. He just makes a move and a shot, and it's a snipe, and it's a perfect shot, and there's nothing you can do, and it's goal. But that's it.
Look, the bottom line is you hope that he learns from it. That's all.
Yeah.
You're not going to be 100% against him, but you hope that they learn from it. They talk about it in film. They figure out what they're going to do next time, and that's the learning process of a season. Come playoff time, you're not going to – hopefully you don't make that mistake. So that's what we got to shoot for.
Yeah, and I noticed, PJ, I want you to throw out his XG in these games as well that you pulled. But I noticed his time on ice had increased, right? So, Coach, against Winnipeg, he played almost 25 minutes in that game. Against Minnesota, almost 23 minutes. Against Columbus, almost 24 minutes. And then 21 against Edmonton. So, I mean, he's got the trust of the coaching staff who's playing that much. He's earning it, right? So
I mean, the only thing I wouldn't trust is putting him in overtime because he just doesn't have that to me.
no,
For the last
no.
couple of years, it's happened more than once.
He
I
should.
know
He
he
has.
should. But I know he should. He doesn't.
That pass to I still can't get over that pass to JT Miller that against Ottawa, dude. I just can't get over it, man. It's so
Yeah, you would think
bad.
he'd be, but with his speed and like length, and you would think he'd be prime for that 3-on-3. He does have an OT winner in his career against Buffalo in 2022.
Did you just look that up or you remember it?
I remembered it. It was right after the trade deadline. Cops set him up.
PJ,
I'm a
there's
Dodger
definitely
fan.
something wrong with you.
Encyclopedia.
But yeah, like Cousin was saying, that the eye test is matching the analytics big time. He's not only is he getting the top minutes, and he's getting it with Fox back in the last two. He's still getting big minutes, which is saying a lot. And his expected goals percentage against Winnipeg was almost 60%, which is incredible with that offense. Minnesota was 64%, Columbus 51.5%, and last night 60. So those are top on the team, or defensemen at least, in each of those games almost, and that's really good.
Wait, what was that stat?
As far as his expected goals percentage, meaning his chat, it's the number of high danger chances when he's on the ice. So the Rangers are
That he
controlling.
got or that he let up?
No, that when he's on the ice, the Rangers are controlling.
All right,
So
but
when he's
out of
on the ice-
how many actual goals did we get? That's the stat I want.
That I was going advanced stats, but
That's what the stat I want.
PJ will dig that up for you.
Yeah,
It's okay.
dig it.
I can
Can't
find
be,
it.
yeah, that can't be too hard to find. I'm sure PJ can find it. All right,
Out of
Coach,
how
we'll
many-
get you that
How
stat.
many goals over expected goals?
I want to know how many goals he scored between 8 o'clock p.m. and 8:40 p.m. on Tuesdays this season and last compared to no, I'm just kidding. Anyway, all right. Did we do milestone moment? Did I miss
Nope.
that?
Nope.
All right, let's go to the milestone moment. Sponsored by Old Country Tile. Mika Zibanejad, 575 career points now at the Rangers. He ironically passed Kreider. I mean, you wouldn't have thought he had a chance to pass Kreider this year, but the guy's 4 assists. So 20, what is he, 22 points? So now Mika's passed them. Here we are.
You're not gonna get over that 4 assists.
How do you go an entire year with 4 assists, 0 primary assists?
How many
0.
points? How many assists does Johnny Brodzinski have?
Probably 15. I don't know.
I don't have that many.
11?
But quickly, I found the K'Andre. The last 3 dating back to the Minnesota, he's been on for 3 goals, 4, 1 against. And then 1 against was the McDavis. The first goal, he's been on the ice against in the last 4.
All right. Brodzinski has 6 assists.
But in how many, when Kreider's played what? Because I know he's got hurt a lot, but
Whatever. This is for Mika.
And
This isn't
Brodzinski
about
doesn't
Kreider.
even play in the power play.
Yeah, well, he plays on the PP2, but whatever. That's not the point. That's not the point. 4 assists it's just crazy to me. I just can't. He had like 30 assists last year or something. He's got 4 assists. Anyway, Mika, though, with his hot performance since January 1st, is now 9th all time in Rangers history. Like him or love him, fans. This is
Like
one
him
of
or
the
hate
best.
him, you mean?
Yeah, like him or hate him. Right. Love him or hate him. Sorry. This has been a long day. This is one of the Rangers' best forwards in their history right here. That's just it. I mean, he's top 10 in points, Coach, like in the franchise's history. 100-year franchise.
I'm sure over the course of the Rangers' history, a guy like Roger Bear, who's Mr. Ranger, had a couple of bad seasons where the fans were all over him, and it didn't just go the way everybody expected. He didn't get the goals expected.
Yeah, I'm sure they said that he was mooching points off of Vic Hatfield's gritty play.
It's just a fact. You're not going to have a great season every year. Very few players do. So, he's had a bad season this year. He started off bad. Who knows the circumstances in his personal life or anything
He was
else
also
going
injured
on.
most of the season. Don't forget his back. I'm sure it's not feeling too great.
Wait,
No,
you're talking about
talking
Kreider
about
or the
Mika.
manager?
Talking about Mika.
Oh, Mika sucks.
Well, he's one of the best forwards in Rangers history. I mean,
Well, put it this way. If he comes on and finishes the season off well and they make the playoffs, it's going to be a pretty big part on his part because he's leading the league in points since January 20th or whatever the number is.
Yeah.
And if he does well in the playoffs, then he's one of the best forwards in Rangers history. So
I'm very quickly getting back on the Mika train. I was off it. I was ready to dump him.
what a surprise.
I was ready to dump him. I just did not see any way he was going to play physical.
Kind of
at all.
like me with Sam Rosen.
No, I just didn't see any way this guy was going to play physical at all. And I did. So there's no way they're going to win a cup with him as the number one center. I was like, get rid of his contract and let's figure it out after that. I was all about that midseason. But since the move to right wing and the way he's been playing, I'm less inclined to move Mika's contract unless it's a good value coming back. I mean, he's $8.5 million for a first line right wing is not, terrible, especially with the cap going up. And he's hitting, he's forechecking, he's back checking, he's taking draws. I don't know what's going on here, Coach, but this is not the same players early in the year. So let's see what Mika we get going forward. I think you're right. If he has a strong finish and the Rangers make a push, it's going to be an interesting conundrum for Drury to
Chris
have.
calling out the cousin Ed jersey curse.
I know. I was. I love Zibanejad. I would have bought his jersey years ago if not for the jersey curse that I have. So he wouldn't even be on the team right now. You could blame
what
me for
Stadium
that.
Series jersey did you get?
Kreider.
Bingo.
I know. I did.
Hey,
thought that was
I'm going to get him a Panarin jersey for his birthday.
Yep. Order it right now.
It only works if it's something I want, though. It's not going to work if you just buy me a jersey. I have to want the jersey. And
You
then,
love
and then,
Panarin.
I do. I would love a Panarin jersey, Coach.
All right, so there you go. So everything's in line.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No. I don't even know. I'm about to get a JT Miller jersey. Should I do it?
No way.
I'm scared. No.
Don't you dare.
Oh, geez.
I would dare.
Like the number 10 JT jersey, not the 8. Like the
number 10. I get the 10.
Yeah.
He's already gone. So
he's gone and he got traded anyway, so you're safe.
Wait, maybe if they trade him and he comes back, the curse doesn't exist because the trade already occurred in the past. So
let's not take the chance.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So I'm on board Mika's. I'm all about the resurgence of Mika's Zibanejad. Let's keep him. Let's roll with it. Let's see where it goes.
The solution to right wing on his line was himself the whole time.
Right, ironically. All right, so congrats to him, 9th all time. PJ, who's 8th, by the way? I didn't see the list there.
Oh God, I got to go back and look at that.
Is he far behind it?
I think a decent amount, but I mean,
who's
Mika?
8th on the Rangers list? Yeah,
it is Steve Vickers. He's 11 back.
11 back.
Actually, no, wait. That was after the Winnipeg, so he might be 10 back now. I think he had a point.
Well, he's closing in on that. Preview future episode, milestone moment. Mika 8th all time's coming.
And then Kreider is 1 behind Mika, but Kreider, as we talked about, doesn't get any points lately.
I just hope Kreider gets a power play goal before the season ends. So when they trade him,
Kreider.
I want Sam to call that. That would be so cool. And he got so close against Columbus. I mean, that Tarasov made an insane save on him.
He's gonna get it on like a national TV night where it's not Sam.
And I have to look at the schedule. I hope there's no more national TV because we only have 14 games of Sam left. I want them all. May I get?
Oh man! All right, so pretty much I missed everything. So are we up to the fantasy 150 already?
Yep.
Wow. All right, let's turn it over to. Wait, did you play? I missed the commercial for Coach's
All
Corner.
you missed was us talking about Jonny B. That's about it.
Yeah, and we talked about nationals too. That.
Oh yeah, Stony Brook stuff.
But yeah, you cousin, you came on right after the commercial. It was perfect timing.
Oh, I missed it. All right, next week.
Yeah.
All right, let's turn it over to Mikey P. Fantasy 150.
All right, next week.
Welcome back to the Rangers Ed Fantasy Hockey 150. Fantasy playoffs are coming up, and it is bad news for Vancouver as Filipino left Saturday's game with a concussion and did not play on Sunday against the Jets. Elvis Merzlikins remains away from the team and out of the Blue Jackets lineup, and the Great Eight is only 8 goals away from passing Wayne Gretzky. On to the waiver wire once again, folks. We got lots of good options out there to buff those rosters up for the playoffs. First up, we got Taylor Hall of the Carolina Hurricanes, owned in only 5% of Yahoo leagues. Hall's put up 2 goals, 2 assists in his last 3 games and is playing second line and first power play for the Canes. If you're in a pinch for points, Hall might be a good option for you, especially with the Sharks and Ducks on the docket for the Canes this week. Second up on the list, we have Mackie Samoskevich of the Florida Panthers, owned in only 22% of Yahoo leagues. Samoskevich is playing second line and first power play for the Cats. He's a listed right wing, and he has been consistently putting up points, power play points, shots, and hits through that stretch. So he may be a good option as his category coverage is good, and he may be able to help some of your teams. Last up on the list, we have Marco Casper of the Detroit Red Wings, owned in only 6% of Yahoo leagues. Casper has 3 goals and 1 assist through his last 3 games, and he's playing 2C for the Wings. Casper is a listed center and left wing, but will likely find his highest value in leagues that reward face-off wins. But he does have great depth category coverage and should be a great utility option should you so desire. Last up for today, we got to tip the hat to some great fantasy performances last week. First up on the list, we have Jordan Eberle of the Seattle Kraken. Not a name you typically find on this list, but Eberle has put up a goal and 6 assists for the Kraken's last 4 games. He's been moving the puck very well this past week, so we got to tip the hat to him for being a team player. Next up, and to a similar tune, we got Jesper Bratt of the New Jersey Devils, who put up 2 goals and 7 assists in the Devils' last 3 games, with 3 of those points coming on the power play. Bratt is doing his job to fill that Jack Hughes size hole in the Devils lineup and make that final push as the playoffs approach. Last up on the list, we got to give a shout out to Darcy Kemper of the LA Kings. Kemper started 3 games last week. He won all 3 with 2 shutouts and 1 game where he only surrendered 1 goal. Kemper's stat line is 3 wins, 2 shutouts, 1 goal against, and a combined .990 save percentage through those 3 games. One of those shutouts, it should be of note, did come against the red-hot Washington Capitals, so hopefully that's a sign that Kemper is ready for the playoffs. We got lots of great hockey coming up this week, folks, so make sure to tune in next week for more fantasy hockey news, updates, and insights. And until then, this has been your 150.
Great job, Mikey.
That was a good one.
Great job.
I love when he adds the guys are owned in only this many percent of leagues. That really, it gives you a good indication, because I'm in a very deep league where that Taylor Hall is owned already, but I'm also in a shallow league where I know he's available. So if I want to add him, so it depends on what kind of league you're in. It gives you an idea of whether that player will be available. It's really useful information. I also love how he tips us off on how to beat him. Like, I might go scoop Taylor Hall now in our league. Why not? Right.
Although he's doing those moves before he says them.
Right. Yeah, he adds him
for sure.
What's his feeling on the Marchand thing? Have you guys heard anything, bud?
Oh yeah, Coach, you got to go on YouTube.
Yeah, go watch his rant from last week. Oh, mama.
It's
an 8-minute rant.
We'll send it to you, Coach.
That's why we realized that's why it didn't play last week, because it was such a long rant.
We posted it directly to YouTube because it was so long.
It was 7.5 minutes long.
I accidentally marked it for kids too. I had to change that.
No, 8.5 minutes.
It was
it was just his own rant on YouTube. It wasn't on our podcast.
We tried to, but it was too long to upload to the live stream.
It was the Rangers said 500.
Way more than 500. 8 minutes, yeah.
But he did mention the Heedle, oh, that was hard to watch. I feel so bad for the kid. And he was just
Yeah.
about to come back this Saturday, to play in the Garden, and he was going to probably, be on his game for sure for
Yeah,
that
about
one.
500.
Yeah. Well, he does a good job. So we'll see how this finishes up with fantasy hockey. We're getting near the end, near the playoffs now. But all right, let's do the schedule predictions. Upcoming schedule sponsored by Sorrento. Sorrento's Pizza in Long Beach. Check them out. Definitely order ahead of time for your game day meal. Best pizza in Long Island. All right. I know, PJ, before we do this week, update last week, I lost again. You guys got it perfect. Go ahead. Tell everybody.
Yep, me, Coach Ed, and Little Ed were all 3-0. I wish we were 2-1 because that would have meant the Rangers won yesterday. And Cousin Ed went 2-1. So
I'm happy to lose that game, though. I picked them to lose against Columbus, and they won. I was very happy to take the L there.
Yeah, we needed you to do that again. So the following standings, I'm in first, 10-6. Coach Ed and Little Ed are tied for second, 8-8. And Cousin Ed in the back at 6-10.
Oof, 6-10. I'm only 4 back, though. That's not bad.
I'll go
One
first
good
this
week.
one.
Little Ed's going first?
Well,
Yeah,
it has
this
to be
is
reverse
what?
standings, right?
Well, last week PJ went first because he was winning.
He's winning still?
All right, let him go. I was going to take it.
No, take it.
You can take it. You want it? I want. Let's hear it.
I think this is going to be the breaking point, or whatever you want to call it, break the ice of the 3-game winning streak. They're going to go 3-0.
The Toyota turning point.
The Toyota turning point. The
Never going to
Taco Bell
catch
pick.
up if you guys keep picking them to win every game.
It's got to happen eventually, right?
So,
No,
yeah.
honestly, that's what I was going to go with too. I just kind of feel it. I said earlier in the episode that both the Calgary and Toronto game, they're both on the second of back-to-back. And Toronto will be second of back-to-back, it'll be their third and fourth night. So, and then you feel like JT's going to be fired up for Saturday. So if they're ever going to do it, they're ever going to put together a streak, it's now. Now or never.
What do you mean back to back?
So Calgary played tonight. So they'll be on the second of back-to-back. They'll be tired. And in Toronto, same deal. They play tomorrow night or Wednesday night before the Thursday. They also play tonight. So they'll be their third and fourth night. So Rangers have no excuses.
I'm riding. I'm with you guys. I think they win these 3. I said to PJ the rest of March, they got 6 games. These 3, then they got the California trip, LA, Anaheim, and San Jose. The only 2 games on this schedule that I look at as they could lose or should lose, maybe Toronto and LA. They got to go 5-1 in these games at least. So I'm going to ride it 3-0. And then they, maybe they go 2-1 in Cali or something like that. So I'm going to go 3-0 as well.
Coach?
I said it. I said 3.
Okay, I'm making sure. All right. We're all
We
on the
sound like
same
such homers. We're such homers. The Rangers going to win out, man.
It's got to happen eventually. But what do you guys
You're
think?
going to go 0-3.
God, don't put that in the air.
Oh, God.
What do you guys think they're going to do goalie wise here? Because they really don't have any back-to-backs coming up, and especially next week when they go to California, they have a pretty open schedule. After Saturday against Vancouver, they don't play till the following Tuesday, and then again not till Friday. Just quick at any of these games until the back-to-back next weekend.
I'm going to say no.
I think you got to ride Igor. If he's going to play well and the Rangers need wins, you got to ride him.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have to.
I mean,
I have confidence in Quick more than anybody, but I mean, if they're going to go with their true number 1, he's got to ride it out.
yeah, you have to, right? I mean, they talked about him getting hot. I mean, I know we litigated last week and last night there was a couple goals, but before last night he was 4-2-2 in his last 8. .929 save percentage, 1.87 goals against. So he is heating up. Like he is getting into that zone. Not perfect, but I mean he's right there. And
Thought he
so
played well last night, honestly. And I hate the Arvidsson goal. I know it was deflected before you say that. But like again, that goal, I think Valaket said it, that shot has like a less than 5% chance of going in.
I know, and I think as a goalie, you just want Jones to just stay in the lane, let the guy shoot it. Like, don't even try to stick your stick out on that because you're reading.
And then if he does that, and the guy snipes, then we're saying, oh,
well,
Jones,
then it's on
you
Igor.
gotta
Then
get-
you got to save it. It's just like on a 2-on-1. Let the goal, take the pass, let the goalie take the shot.
Well, you'd say it's on Igor, but then people would say, oh, the defenseman has to get in the lane, and
But then when we
defense
say
sucks.
it's Igor, you go, well, it's not an easy shot. The D should have did something.
Right, the
It's not
D
that
sucks,
D
right?
said.
So it's like a double-edged sword. Like, yeah, it got deflected.
Now you're saying it's on Igor. When we say it's on Igor, you say that's not fair.
I do think it's
last
a
night
low
was
percentage
not. I mean,
goal.
you watch that thing; it went right by his ear. I mean, you look at any shot.
Well, he turned.
He went like this to try to put his glove there.
Henrik would have taken it off the mask.
He should have headed it.
But I mean, that was just, it was honestly almost the same play when Mika scored against Allmark in Ottawa. It ramped off the D stick like that. It's hard to read. These goalies they're reading the stick. They can see where it's releasing from, whether it's low or high. So and from there, he's not expecting to go top of his ear. He wouldn't have been down that early.
I think Stony Brook might get themselves a goalie coach next year, PJ, if he's got the time.
No way. I'll be arguing with PJ every freaking practice.
He'll be like, he's playing well. What do you want me to do? I'm not taking him out.
PJ doesn't want to hear what I say to the goal.
Oh, geez.
Oh, God.
All right, boys.
Good episode, guys. Thanks for covering early. Sorry I missed the beginning. Thank you, everyone, for listening and joining in the chat. I love how active the chat gets. You guys are loyal listeners, and it means a lot. It makes it worth doing this. And thank you to our sponsors again for making this podcast possible. And thank you guys for all your hard work, especially this week where I didn't have a lot of bandwidth. Appreciate it. And let's go Rangers. Hopefully they can just end this roller coaster a little bit with a nice little winning streak and get going. A tough loss against Edmonton, but I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive about this team right now. So let's see.
Coach Ed and I have our tickets available to tomorrow night's game. If anybody in the chat wants them. Well, PJ, I assume you don't want them, correct?
I want them. I just wouldn't be able to get there. I have
Okay,
to
so
work.
you're out. Anybody in the chat for being a loyal fan and always helping us out in the chat, first come, first serve, they're yours. Shoot me a DM.
Heard it there first, folks. And get your broadcast banner cards.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
However, if you go to the game and it's freebie night, we get the freebie.
Yeah, we get the towel or whatever it is. If it's a Sam bobblehead or whatever it is, we get
Or
the
just
freebie.
get another one. Just get two, Like a Lundqvist night, we went there, we got like 80 banners or whatever.
When I
still
went
have
with
them
Kathy last week,
And
they
all
were
the
giving out
bobbleheads, too.
sweatshirts. When I went with Kathy, they were giving out sweatshirts, and I didn't get it.
Coach,
Wow.
you got to pay attention,
They don't
And they're
announce
trying to
it
get people
anymore.
back. I can't believe they give them sweatshirts.
Well, they were like thin, those, they were nice though.
Well, happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone out there. By the way, tomorrow is my birthday. If you guys want to wish me a happy birthday on the podcast, I'll give you the opportunity.
Yes,
I don't know if
Can
you
we
do
wish
that.
it tomorrow?
Well,
Happy
personally,
We're
birthday.
going to do it but happy birthday. And
How
Thank
old are
you.
you? How old are you? 5?
I am 36 years old. I'm 39. Getting old.
and we're
I'll send you
close.
I'll send you a broadcast banter expansion pack when it comes out.
Well, you're gonna have to
Or-
send me the one card that I lost somehow in my living room.
Still didn't find it?
No.
Oh my god, that's so weird. It's gotta be under your couch or something. But I'll send you
big card to
the
lose.
box. I'll make you the box to hold the cards in.
Oh, thanks.
Did you check Cody's stool?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm worried about. Anyway, all right, boys. Have a good
Happy
night.
birthday, cuz.
Thank
Yes,
you,
happy
Coach.
birthday. Let's go
Does
Rangers.
this
Get a
mean
win
I don't
for
have
'em.
to say it tomorrow so I don't forget?
You're gonna forget anyway. All right, guys.
I
Have
love
a good
you guys.
night.
Love you
Love
guys.
Bye bye.
See ya.